Chapter 330. Chapter 330. You know nothing about my background. Mr. Blair, Mr. Ganner, do you both have any unfinished business? Fang Jueyu turned around with a half-smile, half-nod. Nothing, it's just. Oh, if there's nothing, then we'll be leaving. Goodbye. Before Ganner could finish, Fang Jueyu interrupted him directly. Wait, Mr. Fang, I have something to ask you. Sai, you people are really strange. I ask if there's anything or nothing, you say nothing. I try to leave and you say there's something. So, is there something or nothing? Fang Jueyu put on a look of impatience. Huaxia man, don't be so arrogant. Ganner's anger had been building for a long time, almost to the point of eruption. Mr. Ganner, please don't get angry. We can discuss any issues. I'm sure Mr. Fang won't make things difficult for us. Blair stopped Ganner. Mr. Blair's words do resonate, indeed worthy of being the head of the Federal Superpower Users Group. If there's a question, just ask. I'll be honest, Fang Jueyu said. In that case, I'll ask directly. Mr. Fang, is there really only this many sage crystals in the warehouse? What? You don't believe it? Fang Jueyu shook his head. The value of that jar of sage crystals was already very high, but it seemed humanity's greed knew no bounds. It appeared his generosity had aroused their suspicion. Well, Mr. Fang, you're the only one who entered the warehouse. We don't know how much was inside. I think a warehouse this large wouldn't just have sage crystals, right? If Mr. Fang has any other finds, why not show them to us? Yeah, Mr. Fang, these civilized items are precious and rare. Many of us haven't seen them yet. Right, Mr. Fang, don't be so stingy. Everyone knows Huaxia people are the most generous. Mr. Fang, the rules we set are to allocate according to contributions, not just the sage crystals, but also those high-tech items, Blair said. Of course, these items are yours personally and we shouldn't ask, but rules are rules. This is how it's always been done. Blair put on an extremely pained look. How about this? If there's any responsibility, I'll bear it all. For this harvest, you take 60% of the sage crystals and 70% of the tech products, and we'll distribute the rest ourselves. This way, it'll be easier to explain when we return to our country. But Mr. Blair, apart from these sage crystals, there's really nothing else in the warehouse. I guarantee it on my honor. Fang Jueyu was telling the truth, with no psychological burden. Blair and Ganner exchanged a glance. Even though Fang Jueyu had spoken to this extent, they remained filled with slow suspicion. Mr. Fang, let's cut the pretenses. If there were only these sage crystals, how could you possibly hand them all over so generously for us to distribute while taking nothing for yourself? Don't tell such childish lies, please. They could clearly remember the miserly demeanor Fang Jueyu had when selling pills before, like a wolf or a tiger. To expect such a person to not skim off the top, much less to be so generous as to give everything away. Sage crystals weren't just any crystals or diamonds. They were the most effective thing to help superpower users increase their strength, incredibly precious. How could they easily give them up? The only reasons must be either he had stashed a large amount away, or he had found something even more valuable. What if I still say there's only this much inside? Then it would trouble Mr. Fang to let us check your spatial storage device. As soon as the words were spoken, over 100 superpower users surrounded Fang Jueyu in the center. If he made any move, these people would probably attack him immediately. Ha ha ha, what an impressive display, Fang Jueyu sneered. The chief urged me to be generous, to share whatever I find in this relic enough that you could have a taste instead of hoarding everything, but you just won't appreciate it. Attack! Blair and Ganner exchanged a look, nodded at each other simultaneously, and launched an attack on Fang Jueyu. ZZZ! Ganner's entire body was wrapped in high-voltage electricity, his muscles becoming incredibly strong under the stimulation, significantly boosting his speed and reflexes. Ganner was a superpower user of the body mutation type. His arms instantly expanded, transforming into giant fists as sturdy as a titan. Oh, rattled, Fang Jueyu sneered, faint golden light suddenly appearing on his body. Boom! The two attacks hit his body unhindered. The massive force sent Fang Jueyu flying, embedding him into the metal wall. Advisor, Fang Jueyu, Long Ting, and the others reacted immediately. Stop them, Blair shouted. Over 100 superpower users instantly surrounded their 9 people in the center. Though Long Ting was strong, more than 3 high-level 7th-level superpower users could still entangle her. And this time, besides them, there were several such superpower users. Given the vast numerical disparity, they could, at most, barely protect themselves. Hitting so weakly, haven't you eaten your fill? Fang Juyu's voice came from the dented metal wall. Advisor, hahaha, I knew you'd be fine. Good people don't live long. Disaster lasts for ages. What? The two 8th-level superpower users' eyes were filled with disbelief. Such a sudden attack would seriously injure even Long Ting. How could Fang Jueyu be fine? Sai, you remain ignorant of my background. The glazed light shimmered around Fang Jueyu, with not a speck of dust on him, as if the attack had not harmed him at all. Vajra Glass Body, heavenly rank combat skill. When perfected, it creates a Vajra Glass Body of 9 Zhang 9 Kai, the ultimate form, radiating golden brilliance, with punches that collapse the heavens and kicks that crack the earth. This combat skill could only be fully completed at the level of a divine ability user. Fang Jueyu had only just begun, but against source energy users, it was almost immune to any attack. Heavenly rank combat skill, terrifying indeed. You forget, the advisor can also use the Buddha's furious fire lotus. Could the advisor be a traveler from the world of battle through the heavens? Such nonsense, conceited nonsense. The two superpower users had never heard of any Vajra Glass Body or heavenly rank skills, thinking Fang Jueyu might just be a physically enhanced superpower user, thus more resilient. The true master generally doesn't fight personally. The light around Fang Jueyu gradually faded. Little Red, help me deal with them. Little Red. Everyone looked around in confusion, wondering who Fang Jueyu was calling. Yes, master. A girl's sweet, childlike voice came from behind them. No, it can't be. How's it possible? Isn't this the level 3 civilization's intelligent system? How could it be listening to him? They slowly turned around to see the girl's holographic image floating midair, still with a seemingly innocent doll-like face, but now exuding a chilling aura like a demon. Round her floated long, crackling red electric whips, hitting the ground with snapping sounds. Wish. Smack. Zizizi. I help. Stop hitting, please stop. Chapter 331. Chapter 331, you must believe what I say. All right, stop hitting them. If this goes on, they'll be dead. Fang Jueyu said, unable to bear the sight of the superpower users howling in pain after being whipped. A lesson to make them remember was enough. Go back and rest. The spaceship doesn't have much energy left, so don't waste it. Yes, master. The little girl retracted her scarlet electric whip, her body turning into strands of red light and merging into the warehouse door. Across the scene, Fang Jueyu and the other superpower users from Huaxia were the only ones still standing, their faces filled with shock, oblivious to what had just happened. Wasn't this spaceship a relic of a level 3 civilization? Based on the material samples they had analyzed, it was at least 80 million years old. How did Fang Jueyu become the master of the spaceship's intelligent system? Fang Jueyu, what on earth happened? How is she listening to you? Yeah, come on, explain it to us, consultant. Don't try to fool us with nonsense about being handsome. We're not that easily tricked. Exactly, we're all in this together. There's no harm in telling us, right? The superpower users from Huaxia crowded around, curious. Now, they finally understood why Fang Jueyu could open the spaceship doors effortlessly, and why the gravity system in that corridor half-killed the other superpower users while it mysteriously shut off for them. It seemed the dangerous ruin was under Fang Jueyu's control. Otherwise, how could he command the intelligent system to attack the superpower users from other countries? It's complicated to explain. Fang Jueyu couldn't possibly tell them his ancestors conquered these ruins thousands of years ago. Just know that I have the highest control over this spaceship now. Damn, I knew it. No wonder everyone else was tense, but you, consultant, were so calm. This isn't exploration, it's a trip to your own amusement park. Don't say it out loud, but it is. Those clueless folks got conned out of billions of US dollars by the consultant, who had it all planned. What is this? An amusement park ticket, ha ha ha. As the Huaxia superpower users whispered among themselves, the foreign superpower users were still groaning on the ground. Fortunately, superpower users have strong life force and recovery abilities, and some countries even had a few healing system users. With those pills, their injuries started to heal quickly, but their gaze upon Fang Jueyu was now filled with fear. What kind of abilities did this young Huaxia advisor possess to control such a terrifying ruin? No wonder they found this exploration unusually safe, encountering almost no self-defense systems along the way. Normally, they would have suffered at least a 20% casualty rate. Nevertheless, this situation only confirmed their belief that Fang Jueyu must have something even more valuable. Perhaps he had somehow obtained the spaceship's controller or something similar. This meant a large portion of the relic's contents was possibly still on him. Thinking of this, their greedy hearts began to stir. Gaining control of the entire spaceship was equivalent to possessing everything, and the value of a level 3 civilization spaceship was immeasurable. If the Huaxia people took this spaceship back to Huaxia, their rise would be unstoppable. No, we absolutely can't let them return safely. We have to leave something behind. Every team leader of the superpower users shared the same thought. But they knew better than to act inside the spaceship, who knew what traps and mechanisms lay within. If they angered Fang Jueyu, they might not return alive. I told you many times, there isn't much in this warehouse. Fang Jueyu's gaze was full of menace. I said it, you have to believe it. Do you believe me now? We believe you, we believe you. Under Fang Jueyu's gaze, everyone nodded like chickens pecking at grain. Even Ganner and Blair, the two 8th-level superpower users, could only respond timidly. Believe him. Only a fool would believe he found just that amount of sage crystals inside. Not believe him, unless you want another whipping. They now understood what kind of person this young man from Huaxia was. Though not bloodthirsty, his temperament was extremely unpredictable, full of devious plots, and highly insidious with a sinister sense of humor. But most importantly, his depth was unknown, both in strength and in his origins, background, and foundation. All right, since I'm so generous and make you doubt if I really only took this much, let me put you at ease. Fang Jueyu raised his hand, and a bottle filled with sage crystals flew into his grasp. According to the previous agreement, Huaxia gets 60%, right? Fang Jueyu glanced at Li Wei, who immediately pulled out a small bag he had prepared. Clatter, Fang Jueyu poured more than half into it, the sound making everyone feel as if their hearts were bleeding. Pour away, keep pouring. Once you leave this ruin, let's see how arrogant you can be. All right, Mr. Blair, the rest is yours. Want to weigh it to see if it's really 40%. Heh, no need, Mr. Fang, we trust your integrity. Besides, you brought this out and we didn't contribute at all. Even if you took it all, we'd have no objections. Oh, that makes sense. Fang Jueyu nodded, continuing to pour more in. Blair's smile froze on his face. Wasn't it obvious his previous words were just polite? How could Fang Jueyu not realize? This guy was stubbornly sincere. Oh well, I promised our leader to leave you a bit, so I'll leave some for you. Fang Jueyu returned a bottle with barely a few grams of sage crystals to Blair. See, I left some for you, Fang Jueyu said with an innocent expression. All right, we've got what we came for, it's time to leave, Fang Jueyu talked to himself. I thought this ruin would be more extensive and dangerous, but it's over in a few hours. Huaxia's superpower users walked proudly at the front, followed by over 100 other superpower users, faces full of gloom. But each harbored hidden agendas, knowing that once outside this ruin HMPH. Zioyi, is my task not completed? Fang Jueyu asked curiously. Those people are already scared witless by me. Isn't that intimidation? Host, you scared them into that state with the things inside this ruin. Of course, it doesn't count. You'll probably have to beat them up yourself, hee. Zioyi sneered. But I need a reason to beat people up. I can't just go hitting them for no reason, right? Relax, look at their faces. They're only scared because the relic's control is in your hands. Once outside, do you think they'll let you easily walk away with those sage crystals? True, Fang Jueyu grinned wickedly. Let's hope they don't back down. If they do, I'll be the one at a loss. Chapter 332. Chapter 332. Not a single fighter among them. Who would have thought we'd complete the mission in just a few hours this time? Not only did we come back unscathed, but we also made a fortune. I had even left a will for my family before setting off. Ha ha ha, same here. My will is still sitting in my email waiting to be sent automatically. That consultant is truly a phenomenon. I feel like there's nothing in the world he can't do. What are you all mumbling about? Aren't you going to contact our logistics team? Do you still want to make it home for dinner tonight? Fang Jueyu called from the front. Haha, no way. We're just praising your extraordinary skills and wise leadership, consultant. Exactly, we're on it. Joe too probably hasn't even had a chance to settle in before he'll need to come pick us up. The Antarctic storm seemed to calm down just at that moment, and even the sky around them cleared up considerably. None of them had expected to finish this mission so quickly. The staff responsible for picking them up were stationed in a country about 800 kilometers away from Antarctica, so it wouldn't take too long for them to arrive. "Consultant, do you really have more sage crystals?" someone asked quietly. Truth be told, just having nearly 100 grams of sage crystals alone was quite a haul. Even if there were no other gains, they would all be satisfied. "We'll talk about it when we get back. We might need to deal with some small troubles first." Fang Jueyu suddenly stopped walking. "How long until Joe 2 gets here?" "About 1 to 2 hours. "That's plenty of time to deal with these troubles," Fang Jueyu nodded. "Troubles?" Some people didn't quite understand. "You all are too naive." Long Ting curled her lips slightly. "Did you really think those guys would just slink away after such a setback?" Even though they had gained more sage crystals than ever before, they were sure Fang Jueyu still had many more, so they weren't fully satisfied. "Friends from Huaxia, please hold on a moment." Over 100 superpower users suddenly stepped forward and surrounded the 10 of them. "See what I mean?" Long Ting's tone was extremely casual, but her expression was deadly serious. 2 8th-level superpower users, about 10 7th-level users, and hundreds of 4th-level and above superpower users were just overwhelming. "I knew you had ulterior motives." Fang Jueyu flexed his arms. "Even though I don't know how you managed to control that entire ruin, we're outside now. There's nothing to help you," Blair said. "What exactly are you trying to say?" Fang Jueyu impatiently dug at his ear. "Huaxia folks, don't get too arrogant." Ganner, who had been holding it in for too long, finally blurted out now that they were out of the ruins. "Hand over what you got from the warehouse, and we'll distribute it based on contribution. And that's not all. You must pay for your earlier actions. Huaxia's share must decrease by 50%. A 7th-level superpower user from Dongku country demanded outrageously. "Why?" Fang Jueyu laughed out loud. "Because of that one well-known face of yours and that yodel-like height." You, the superpower user from Dongku country, was ugly and short, but due to his status and power, no one had ever dared point it out to his face before. "Makino-kun, don't get angry. Let's catch this overly arrogant Huaxia person first," Ganarla suggested. "All right. Blair, you can handle the Huaxia woman, right?" "Don't worry. I may have just reached the 8th level and my skills are not as good as hers, but I can still keep her entangled," Blair said confidently. "Good, then the remaining 7th-level superpower users will assist us, and the rest should control the other Huaxia superpower users." Ganner's words carried almost as much weight as Blair's, being among the strongest present. "Why bother? Why don't you all come at me together?" Fang Jueyu said relaxedly. "Just solve it all at once to avoid the hassle." "Consultant, this isn't wise." "Fang Jueyu, this isn't a joke." "Consultant, don't underestimate us. We can handle 10 at once." "Yeah, you trained us, so we have confidence." "Oh, shut it, all of you." Fang Jueyu waved them off. "A bunch of rotten tomatoes and spoiled eggs. Do you expect it would take so much time to deal with them? Who do you take us for?" Huh? Not just Long Ting, but the other superpower users were taken aback. They knew Fang Jueyu was powerful, but these were 2 8th-level superpower users, nearly 10 7th level, and the weakest were still 4th level. Even a 9th-level expert couldn't handle that, right? "Should we step back a bit?" "Yeah, I think so too. The consultant never seems to have shown his true power. Suddenly, I feel these guys are in trouble." "Yeah, have you ever seen the consultant brag?" Not really." "Wait, do you feel like the ground is shaking?" Kayarak? The ice suddenly split into cracks, and a terrifying aura emanated from Fang Jueyu, much stronger than the last time with Long Ting. "Look at the sky." The once clear sky was now shrouded in dark clouds, faintly laced with thunder rolls and golden lightning crisscrossing. "Creation martial arts, great wilderness prison sky finger, one finger strikes, and heaven and earth are imprisoned." Boom! Fang Juyu's face momentarily paled, but the aura brewing within the clouds grew increasingly terrifying. His skill had reached a new height from the last time, wielded more effortlessly than before. An ancient hand appeared, seemingly piercing through ages, exuding an indifferent, supreme aura from its fingertips, making people feel an urge to kneel in reverence. What kind of martial art is this? Does the ancient martial world have such martial arts? Long Ting stared dumbfounded at the scene, resembling a miracle. If Mu Yufeng knew this move, she would be undoubtedly defeated. He's the one. Singapore's superpower users seemed immobilized. When they had investigated the battle on that beach initially, it had already ended, leaving only faint remnants of power and a few paralyzed superpower users. They couldn't have imagined this person would be Fang Jueyu. This was the power of heavens and earth they couldn't withstand. Even the strongest superpower users could only invoke small-scale earthly power with their abilities. But Fang Jueyu's creation martial arts broke the shackles of boundaries directly. This embodied the will of the heavens and earth. Crash! The ice surface instantly shattered. That finger didn't even touch the superpower users before the energy fluctuations at its tip sent them flying, spewing blood. The two 8th-level superpower users could only hold on for a few seconds before the cracking sounds of their bones became audible, and they realized the monstrosity they faced. Boom! A violent explosion left a crater over 100 meters wide on the ice cap, accompanied by wails, cries for help and groans. Sorry, couldn't control the power. Fang Jueyu quickly popped some pills into his mouth and then glanced at the half-dead superpower users with a look of pity. Sigh, not a single worthy opponent. Chapter 333. Chapter 333. Bring money to redeem people. Is this the advisor's true power? Why do I feel like I'm watching a fantasy movie? Do you guys remember, the advisor's film company made a movie, and I heard its special effects even put Hollywood to shame. I suspect the advisor acted as his own stunt double. Damn, I think it's possible. Otherwise, how could computer-generated effects look so realistic? Plus, the advisor's skills could definitely pull it off. But Fang Jueyu, is he a superpower user or an ancient martial artist? Long Ting was sure that the move Fang Jueyu just used was a form of incredibly powerful martial arts. Great Wilderness Prison Sky Finger. The name sounded so familiar. I'm neither a superpower user nor an ancient martial artist. Fang Jueyu shook his head. What? Want to learn? Long Ting nodded almost instinctively. Sure, I'll teach you when I have time. But first, we've got to deal with this group of folks. The foreign superpower users were all injured to varying degrees, but because Fang Jueyu held back and the explosion's impact was dispersed, besides a few severely injured, no one died. Although they still had some chi-gathering pills they previously bought from Fang Jueyu, this self-healing ability was a bit lacking compared to their wounds. The real problem was a few of the healing system superpower users in the team were also seriously injured. Fang Jueyu slowly walked into the crowd, and with each step he took, their hearts pounded fiercely, as if a demon from the abyss was walking toward them. No, this person was even more terrifying than a demon. A single person, using only one move, directly half-killed over 100 of the world's strongest superpower users. He was only in his 20s. If he wasn't a demon, how could an ordinary person possibly do that? Tusk, you guys fold too easily and I wasn't even trying. Fang Jueyu shook his head disinterestedly. Do you think just because there are more of you it makes a difference? Fang Jueyu laughed. Want to continue? Brawl or one-on-one? In a brawl I take you all on. One-on-one I challenge every single one of you. Fang Jueyu's tone was both arrogant and brash, but when it was based on absolute strength, no one thought anything was wrong. He had already proven with his actions that he indeed could take them all on. Now I'll ask you one last time. When I said I took these things out of the warehouse, do you believe me or not? We believe. Even though Blair and Ganner were usually proud in the face of such a huge power gap, they had no choice but to bow their heads. Mr. Fang, we realize we were wrong, we were too greedy. With such power, he had no need to deceive them. Rules are made to bind the weak. To the strong they are mere scraps of paper. Even if there were a ton of sage crystals in the ruins warehouse, as long as you have the strength, you can take them all and no one can stop you. If you had believed me earlier, we wouldn't have had so many problems. Fang Jueyu exclaimed, acting heartbroken. Look at you all, so seriously injured. Even after systemic treatment, it'll take at least a few months to half a year to recover properly. Here's an idea. I'll be a good person to the end, go the extra mile, and have a tearful clearance sale once again. Fang Jueyu took out a jar of pills. These are life creation pills I personally crafted. Your injuries will be completely healed in half a day, without any lingering effects. Really? The weakened superpower users' eyes lit up instantly. They were the backbone of their respective countries, and if they were injured, many missions could not be carried out. For their countries and organizations, this was extremely serious and could even affect the stability of some regimes. If there was a way to heal quickly, it would be the best. Mr. Fang, how much for your pills? Someone asked cautiously. Honest business, one pill for $10 million, no bargaining. Li Wei and the others nearby couldn't help but laugh, their faces turning red from holding it in. The cost of the life creation pills was indeed much higher than those of the chi-gathering pills, and they used some valuable herbs. But a price of 10 million US dollars per pill was still quite a markup since, within Yan Huang, one could get a pill for just a few 100,000 yuan. Mr. Fang, isn't that a bit too expensive? We didn't bring that much money. No problem, you can also skip it. Same old rules, you can write an IOU. You are the treasures of your countries. Surely this amount isn't beyond your means. I'll take one. Blair gritted his teeth hard. He was the most vital and critical superpower user in the Federation. If he were in trouble, the entire Federation's order might see some turmoil. Ha, thank you for the business. I look forward to your next visit. Fang Jueyu joyfully accepted the IOU. Cough, cough, cough. Blair coughed repeatedly in a fit of anger. He couldn't even count how many times he had been extorted on this trip. A few more times like this, and the Federation's superpower user department's funds would be drained. I also have some life creation pills, selling at 9.5 million US dollars each. Anyone interested? I have 5. I'm selling at 9.4 million, 4 available. I'll sell at 9 million, only 2 limited offer. Damn, you guys are stealing my business. Just wait till we get back, I'll beat you up, Fang Jueyu threatened viciously. Advisor, you can't be the only one making money. We also need to have a taste. After all, there are over 100 people here. A little share won't hurt, right? This was almost a cost-free venture. The superpower users wouldn't miss such an opportunity. Scram, stay far away from me. Don't make me see you. Heh, all right then, advisor, we promise not to interrupt your business. With Fang Jueyu's permission, they scampered off cheerfully. I should have brought a few more. The 2 7th-tier superpower users clenched their fists. This massive deal was another few billion US dollars in pocket, and Fang Jueyu was overjoyed. A couple of hours later, planes began landing one after another on this icy plain, with the people from Huaxia arriving first. Advisor Chairman, did you finish the task this quickly? Yeah, it went more smoothly than we imagined, and the haul wasn't small. Long Ting shook the bag in her hand. That's great, the leaders will be very pleased. Although it was hard to see exactly how much there was, the sound was enough for Zhou Tu to know this trip had been quite fruitful. Let's go back then. Wait, we still have to collect the money, let's leave tomorrow, Fang Jueyu said. Zhou Tu had a perplexed look, not knowing what Fang Jueyu meant. Hey, who said you guys could leave? At that moment, Fang Jueyu rushed toward a plane that was loading the wounded. The superpower user looked terrified, almost recoiling. Mr. Fang. Mr. Kimir, you still owe me over 50 million US dollars in IOUs. Shouldn't you settle up before leaving? But we didn't bring that much money with us. How about I transfer the amount to your account as soon as I get home? Kimir said with a pained expression. No, that won't do. What if you default? Then I'd have to come knocking on your door. Fang Jueyu shook his head. You all heard him, you can leave, but first repay what you owe me. If you didn't bring money, go back home, fetch it, and come back to redeem your people. Chapter 334. Chapter 334. Reincarnation is a skillful task. Didn't bring money. Go back to the organization to get it, and do it as fast as you can. What? The organization doesn't have that much money left. Then borrow from the finance department first. We've done so much for the country, asking for this much isn't too much, right? We'll wait here, so make it quick. The staff in charge of transportation had no idea what happened in those few short hours, nor did they understand why suddenly everyone required so much funding. But their job was merely to follow orders. As soon as the planes landed, they took off into the sky again. Let's go inside and get something to warm up. Fang Jueyu's divine sense enveloped the area, ensuring he wasn't worried that anyone from other countries would try to bolt without paying. They were probably already scared out of their wits, and the consequences of skipping out on their bills would be 100 times scarier than now, because they didn't doubt for a moment that this devil of a young man might march into their country alone to collect the debts, possibly making things blow up even further. Several hours later, superpower users from the nearby countries transferred money directly into Fang Jueyu's international account, a total of billions of US dollars, while the cost for him was barely a few 100,000 in RMB. Rip, Fang Jueyu tore up the IOU in his hand, then a flame appeared in his palm, turning the paper to ashes. All right, you guys can go back. Oh, right, Blair still has the remaining 40% share of the sage crystal. Remember to claim it. Blair shot Fang Jueyu a fierce glare. With all this going down, many people had nearly forgotten their actual target was the sage crystal, but his reminder brought it back to everyone's mind. This latest operation was nearly all Fang Juyu's doing. The few dozen grams of sage crystal had to be shared equally under the conditions, something the superpower users from bigger countries begrudged, though to those from smaller, weaker nations, it was a fortuitous event. By the next morning, the last country had transferred the money owed per the IOU to Fang Juyu's account, and in just a few hours, his balance increased by over 5 billion US dollars. The other superpower users also netted millions in dollars, equivalent to the fortune they might otherwise spend years risking their lives to amass. Wow, following the advisor sure pays off. Yeah, joining the advisor's team was the luckiest thing I've ever done. Advisor, remember to include us next time there's such a good opportunity. Ha ha ha, no problem, Feng Juyu laughed. But you all need to compete yourselves. There won't always be lots of spots available. Absolutely, this time when we go back, we'll train harder to keep pace with you, advisor. Unbeknownst to them, a sense of admiration for Fang Juyu was gradually forming in their hearts. Maybe after some time, I can send them to the Super God Academy to study, Fang Juyu decided as he looked into their eyes. Fang Juyu, was this really all you got this time? Long Ting placed a small bag of sage crystals on the table, containing over 100 grams, possibly matching all their previous acquisitions combined. Yeah, that's all that was in the warehouse. Apparently, many years ago, everything worth taking had already been cleaned out, leaving only these bits and pieces. Bits and pieces. The superpower users repeated the words, their lips twitching. On the international market, 1 gram was worth hundreds of billions of US dollars. To think someone could just leave such treasures behind like they were nothing. What did you mean by what you said earlier? Do you have more sage crystal? Long Ting recalled Fang Juyu's previous words. What do you think? A crystal stone the size of a baby's head suddenly appeared in Fang Juyu's hand. Everyone stood up in shock. Is this a sage crystal? They weren't new to the group, and the stock of sage crystals within their reserves was extremely limited. Even as superpowered individuals, they received maybe a few tiny granules a year, each smaller than a speck of dust. But even a speck-sized crystal could boost their power level by a whole step in a year. Scientists of Huaxia had discovered through research that larger sage crystals released more energy, improving their advancement more effectively. With a piece like that, Long Ting could potentially reach a 9th-rank superpower status within 2 years and attempt to break through for higher realms within 5. Advisor, is this truly a sage crystal? The teammates couldn't believe it. They had never heard of a sage crystal that big, let alone seen one. Such a sage crystal's value surpassed all the crystal stone they've collectively gathered from over 20 relics they had explored. Duh, can't you sense it? Fang Juyu gave them a white eye, tired of their useless questions. You said only these were in the warehouse. Then where did this come from? Long Ting asked, puzzled. I never said I got this today. I've got tens of millions more like this, all left to me by my parents, Fang Juyu stated. Tens of millions. They almost fainted. Such a piece could stir international chaos, as everyone knew what a chunk of sage crystal represented, a strategic resource capable of changing a country's global standing. But Fang Juyu had plenty, and frighteningly, they were left over from his parents. They knew Fang Juyu's family owned mines, legitimate mines. According to incomplete statistics, significant investments from African gold and diamond mines flowed annually into Huaxia, all eventually funneling into a Zhuang family. Most people had never heard of this family, but those at the top of the pyramid were well aware that the Zhuang family had existed in Huaxia for millennia. Companies like Alibaba or Tencent were mere child's play to them. They were Huaxia's wealthiest and most prestigious, yet most discreet family. But most startling was someone discovered that Zhuang family's eldest daughter, Zhuang Ying, was merely Fang Juyu's private assistant, indicating his terrifying background and identity. Nonetheless, nobody could acquire any effective information about Fang Juyu's family. It was as if they had vanished into thin air. Did they possess not only diamond and gold mines, but also a sage crystal mine? How else could one explain the vast number of high-quality sage crystals he owned? Don't look at me like that, Fang Juyu seemingly saw right through their thoughts. If there were a sage crystal mine, could it really be kept hidden from all the spies in the world? Then, those relics you visited, my dad, my grandpa, and countless ancestors have been to many times before. Any excess goods were already cleared out long ago, Fang Juyu claimed shockingly. Geez. Damn. Oh my God. Advisor, We've been risking our necks to scrape up your family's leftovers. Advisor, just what on earth does your family do? I'm completely baffled. Heck, can't say. Fang Jueyu put a finger to his lips. Do you want to be like me? Of course we do. The shameless superpower users gathered closer. Advisor, do your parents take foster sons? I'm up for it. So am I. Scram, the only way is to be reborn. If you end up as my son, everything will be yours eventually. Ha ha ha, even Long Ting, usually serious, couldn't help but laugh. It's not that simple, Fang Jueyu said with mock wisdom. Reincarnation is a craft. Chapter 335-335, Fang Qian's Lifeline. In the evening, the plane slowly landed at the third base of the superpower users, and the top officials who received the news were already waiting for their arrival. Even the chief came in person. It took an extra day than planned, but making billions of US dollars was worth it. Breathing in the warm air of one's own country was definitely more relaxing. Hey Fang, judging by your expression, you had a pretty good haul this time, huh? That familiar and amiable voice rang next to Fang Jueyu. Yo chief, haha, you're so busy every day, how did you have the time to come here? HMPH, if I didn't come, were you planning to extort all the money from other countries next time? The chief said, blowing his beard and glaring, but his tone didn't carry a hint of anger. He even seemed very happy. I heard you taught the superpower users of other countries a lesson this time, and also seized most of the harvest by yourself. Sending Fang Jueyu to lead Yanhuang this time, the chief was actually mentally prepared for such results long ago. Who the hell is tattling to the chief? Fang Jueyu shouted loudly, Chief, it's not my fault. Fang Jueyu showed a wronged expression. This time's actions were completely in accordance with your instructions. They encountered some traps in the relic, and each one exhausted their strength and energy severely, so I took the initiative to sell them pills. Ha, the advisor is really a puller. Wasn't that selling, it was extortion, whispered the superpower users who participated with Fang Jueyu in this operation, talking about his shameless deeds. You guys know how dark the advisor's heart is. He sold a fasting pill for 50,000 US dollars, a chi gathering pill for several million US dollars. The craziest thing is, those foreigners were actually scrambling to buy them. If they knew how much it cost, they would cry their eyes out. And didn't you ask me to leave them something to drink with? I found over 100 grams of sage crystals, so I generously gave it all to them, yet they suspected I was hoarding more and tried to come at me. Fang Jueyu's tone was filled with grievance, almost on the verge of tears. But where do I have any more of it? I risked getting electrocuted by an intelligent system to smuggle it out of the warehouse. There's really nothing left on me. SHH, let me secretly tell you that warehouse's intelligent system totally follows the advisor's commands. He just solved a few 1+1 problems and got in, while everyone else from other countries got zapped severely, so sinister. Say it again. Fang Jueyu, with his keen hearing, immediately turned his head and glared at them menacingly, and none dared to expose his shortcomings anymore. So, tell me, how can I not feel wronged? I explained several times, but they wouldn't believe me. Over 100 people surrounded me and wouldn't let me leave, even wanted to search me, so I had no choice but to hesitate to knock them all out. The chief's forehead was lined with black lines. Although he knew that most of what Fang Jueyu said was probably true, hearing it in that tone brought a different feeling. 100 people gang up on you, and you knock them all down, yet you say you did it with reluctance. Aren't those who got beaten by you really aggrieved? But I thought, I'm a young talent of the 21st century, I must repay evil with good, can't go around killing just because I'm wronged. So I sold them healing pills and got them all treated. Look at that rogue face of the advisor. He sold the life creation pill for 10 million US dollars apiece. Isn't this outright robbery? Exactly, beat someone half to death, then sell them meds. Have you ever seen anything more shameless? Oh, I really haven't. All right, stop pulling the wool over my eyes as long as you all came back safely. The chief knew Fang Jueyu's character. He was the kind of person who would never suffer a loss, and in this case, it was those superpower users who were at fault, at most just grumbling a bit, not worth paying attention to. How is the harvest? Chief, we've got about 120 grams of sage crystals here. As for the advisor, Long Ting gave Fang Jueyu a look. Oh Chief, I forgot to tell you last time, I've got plenty of this stuff at home. My family left me a warehouse. You guys use these for now. Feel free to ask for more if it's not enough. Fang Jueyu directly took out 10 fist-sized sage crystals, which at Earth's current level, these 10 alone could be used for a long time. But for Fang Jueyu, these 10 were just a drop in the bucket. A whole warehouse, the chief's jaw dropped. Even he had never heard of sage crystals that big. What on earth is Fang Jueyu's background? The owner of Earth. Is there anything he can't get? Special mission completed. The host receives a reward. Fang Qian's family jewels. Ha ha ha, finally done. Right when Fang Jueyu was bantering with the chief, he suddenly received a message from Little Yi. These people's reflex arc is really long. I thought they were already scared silly at the Antarctic. Chief, well, I'll leave these things with you, my girlfriend. Waiting at home for the hot pot. I'll be off now, okay? Sure. The chief waved his hand. Should I have someone take you back? No need, it's not that I'm picky, but the planes here still aren't as fast as my home delivery plane. Fang Jueyu's son God had already started its automatic cruise mode and parked near the base. Okay then, come visit when you have time. The chief was not just being polite. Given Fang Jueyu's background and ability, making good with him is undoubtedly all profit and no harm. Fang Jueyu disappeared at the end of the training ground in a few steps. That kid is really unfathomable. Chief, do you need someone to investigate his background? His family seems not so simple. Haha, no need, his family's antiquity has already surpassed our imagination. The chief smiled faintly, as if he knew something. Let's go, make sure to use these things well, don't waste them. Zhao Yi, disable optical camouflage, destination Jiangnan Biyuan Villa No. 1. Fang Jueyu impatiently jumped into the car and began to examine what the so-called Fang Qian ancestors, family jewels, really were. Host, this is truly a treasure, unique in the entire universe. What is it? Very powerful, Fang Jueyu asked gleefully. A light flashed, and a small silver pendant appeared in Fang Jueyu's palm, with a green little crystal in the center of the pendant, emitting a mysterious and unique energy. Host, among all your ancestors, Fang Qian is the most special. He dedicated all his efforts to scientific research. This here is the culmination of his hundreds of years of hard work. You may call it the Spacetime Store. What does it do? Through this Spacetime Store, you can buy anything you want from anywhere in the universe without leaving your home. Pa, isn't that just online shopping? Why make it sound so mysterious? I can just have my dad send it by courier. Nonsense. Delivery takes a lot of time. Do you see this green crystal? That's what makes it unique. This is called a spacetime stone. It automatically absorbs energy every month. As long as you pay enough money, the goods you want can be transported directly beside you via this spacetime stone. Wow, impressive. Chapter 336. Chapter 336. Why don't I also judge a prize? How could such a good thing be left with you? Fang Jueyu asked, puzzled. Isn't it because the area where your Earth is located is a place where birds don't even poop? Little Yi replied. Your ancestors lived in the territories of the Cosmic Federation, and you can't imagine how convenient it was. This thing is considered a divine artifact here, but for them, it was optional. So, I was right in thinking my ancestors weren't so kind as to leave such a good thing for me. Fang Jueyu rolled his eyes. Can I use this thing to buy stuff now? Are you out of your mind? Do you have cosmic coins? Do you have an account with the Cosmic Bank? If not, how are you going to buy things with a hammer? I've told you countless times I am your host. Please show some respect, Fang Jueyu said sternly. You're just a dimwit. Your dad was 100 times smarter than you back then. If he hadn't asked me to help you, I wouldn't have bothered. Even a woman can play you like a fiddle. Shut up, don't hit someone's face, don't stab where it hurts. These bickering sessions, erupting every few days, ended after half an hour. Little Yi, armed with a rich vocabulary, once again, delivering florid insults. Gulp, gulp. Fang Jueyu took a big gulp of water. The argument had left him parched. Looks like I should ask my dad for some cosmic coins next time. Otherwise, such a good thing would be wasted. Fang Jueyu muttered to himself. With the Spacetime Store, even if the space wormhole was opened in a few years, Fang Jueyu could handle it with ease. Tang Sun Company's market cap exceeded 1.8 trillion US dollars, surpassing Weigu Company and Microsoft to become the world's highest valued company. Since its release in Huaxia, Du Po Kang Qiang 1 surpassed box office earnings of 12 billion RMB. The first batch of VR cinemas landed in Europe and America, bringing enormous future profits for Supercars Infinite Film Company. This year's Nobel Prize winners were announced. A team from Jiangnan University in Huaxia won the Nobel Prize in Biology for their new plant gene modification methods. Professor Fang Jueyu from Jiangnan University received the academician title. The academician workstation would officially settle at Jiangnan University, with all expenses covered by academician Fang Jueyu personally. In just a month, Huaxia saw a burst of explosive news, nearly all centered around Fang Jueyu as the key figure, elevating his popularity to new heights. National husband couldn't describe his current fame. Rich, talented, and attractive, the dream of nearly every Huaxia girl, but Gogh Xinyu shattered those dreams. People began scheming otherwise, with all sorts of children's photos appearing in comments on Fang Jueyu's Weibo. Dean, this is my newborn son. How about we set an arranged marriage? Dean, do you need a daughter-in-law or son-in-law? My wife just gave birth to twins yesterday. 10 years is fine with us. No financial burdens at home and 10 houses in Yanjing. The one above, does 10 houses in Yanjing even tempt the Dean? Dean, my wife also gave birth to twins. We're ready to arrange a marriage anytime. If needed, my wife and I can die right away. No in-law problems. The one above is savage. Ha ha ha, these people are real characters. Fang Jueyu laughed like a pig at these comments. He wasn't even married yet, and people were already eyeing his potential kids. Though for the wealthy, marrying and having kids at 20 was normal, Gogh Xinyu's career was thriving, and she wanted to work hard for a few more years. Once she achieved her dreams and held her own solo tour in Huaxia, she'd think about marriage. Fang Jueyu naturally supported Gogh Xinyu's dreams and wasn't in a rush. After some training at the Supercars Academy and continuous genetic enhancements, Gogh Xinyu's vocal system and singing skills reached new heights. She was nearly at the pinnacle of singing technique. Since the Bamboo's last song, Gogh Xinyu released dozens of singles. Many thought she only rose to fame due to Fang Jueyu's connections and finances, but after hearing her voice, no one dared to question her anymore. The opening and closing songs of Du Po Kang Kiang 1, along with several inserts, were all composed and written by Gogh Xinyu herself. On iTunes, 3 of her songs made the top 10 chart. That theme song, Youthful Ambitions, Innocent Feelings, dominated the chart since 3 weeks ago, with over 30 million sales and terrifying streaming numbers. Even without considering her boyfriend Fang Jueyu, Gogh Xinyu herself became a rising star in the entertainment industry. Her Weibo followers exceeded 30 million, hardly less than Fang Jueyu's. What a surprise! Fang Jueyu, busy with various affairs recently, hadn't focused much on Gogh Xinyu. He didn't expect her to achieve so much on her own. Fang Jueyu, scrolling through Weibo, was startled by Gogh Xinyu's shout. "What's up, Xinyu?" Fang Jueyu asked. She rarely lost composure like this. Her expression seemed a bit crazed, even with a hint of tears in her eyes. "Grammy. The GR Grammy sent me an invitation to attend the 2020 awards ceremony, and 3 of my songs were nominated." "Oh, isn't that normal?" Fang Jueyu replied, unfazed. Gogh Xinyu was now a legitimate hidden elementer. After genetic metamorphosis, she was far more perfect than ordinary people. Her voice was angelic even without training. Guided by Supercars Academy's teachers, winning a Grammy wasn't surprising, was it? The award ceremony is on the 7th of next month at the Oscar Center in the United States. Will you accompany me? Gogh Xinyu's eyes were filled with longing. Sure, Fang Jueyu nodded. It had been long since he accompanied Gogh Xinyu on an outing, so this was a good opportunity to go with her. But can attendees take family members to such events? Fang Jueyu asked. Considering you're the world's richest man, attending an award ceremony shouldn't be over the top, right? Maybe I should send a message to the organizers. Is the nomination period over? Not yet, there should be a week left. Many singers are preparing new songs to make a last-minute chart push. Haha, that makes things easier, Fang Jueyu laughed. Why don't I submit for an award too? We'll go together. I'll write a song tomorrow. A week is enough to sweep the charts on major music platforms, then I'll go with you to receive the award. Gogh Xinyu nodded excitedly. Anyone else present would have been dumbfounded. Writing a song in a day and planning to sweep the charts, did he think other singers were just fooling around or Grammy nominations were randomly given? But for Fang Jueyu, this was as easy as eating or drinking water. Chapter 337. Chapter 337. How can he still sing? How is it, Teacher Elvis, Teacher Chopin, Teacher Michael? How's the arrangement, lyrics, and choreography of this song? In the Super Sound Academy, after rounds of modifications, Fang Jueyu completed the full version of his work. Two teachers with imposing appearances watched the video with him. Very impressive. The arrangement of this song is ahead of its time, yet it doesn't confuse people. Even those who aren't musically inclined can sense its rhythm and beauty. However, at 1 minute and 24 seconds, I think a few tweaks could be made. Director, I believe the lyrics in these two sections could use a little revision, and there's a small dance step here. This can be changed to a side glide, and you can use cosmic source power to increase the tilt of your body for a more stunning effect. Chopin's fingers tapped lightly on the piano before sitting down to play a short passage seamlessly. Director, I think the melody between the two choruses could be adjusted a bit. What do you think? Ha, as expected from masters, your suggestions are spot on. Under the guidance of several teachers, Fang Jueyu immediately modified his work. Indeed, after making the prescribed changes, it became much more polished. Teacher Chin, I'll leave the final editing to you. Ha, director, rest assured, the video I old Chin produce will be the highest quality. I guarantee no one on your planet can make a better one. Teacher Chin began his meticulous work at once. Half an hour later, a portable hard drive was handed to Fang Jueyu. This was the piece he intended to submit for a Grammy nomination. As the world's richest man and an excellent scientist, Fang Jueyu was already highly renowned in Huaxia and across the globe. However, no one would associate him with a singer or musical maestro. But as the saying goes, as long as you have traffic, even a pig can become a star. Haven't you seen how Wang Kong's pet dog and duck have garnered millions of followers, securing endless advertisement deals? Fang Jueyu didn't need any operation or promotion for his song to have a high play count. He opened Weibo and sent out 10,000 yuan prize giveaways, attaching a link to his song. Waiting for a prize. Hubby, pick me, I've never won before, look at me for once. Wait, how come the director posted a new link today? Did the director start taking ads now? Star Abyss, is this a new song by Ms. Zinyu? Composer, Fang Jueyu, lyricist. Fang Jueyu, oh my god, director, are you entering the entertainment industry now? 666,666, you can earn money, do research, and now sing and compose. Director, just tell me what you can't do. Isn't the world too unfair? How did so many good things drop on one person's head? To the one above, maybe you should get reborn and possibly become the director's son. Stop babbling, just listen first, okay? With money, what can't you do? People earn money through concerts. Look at Ma Baba from Ali making money and holding concerts. Now he's an honorary professor at Berklee College of Music, but this level, apologies to Papa Ma. Right, just listen first. The song was titled Star Abyss, themed around the stars, ocean, and nature. It blended the melodies and arrangements of modern songs while retaining classical elegance and beauty. The prelude was accompanied by the sounds of piano and violin. Fang Jueyu's magnetic voice seemed to come from a boundless, ethereal sky. His voice was clean, clear, and deeply moving. The song's melody, capable of touching the soul, was a technique developed from the long evolution of music by level 2 civilizations and above. Every listener felt as if they were floating in the galaxy, seeing nothing but the Milky Way. So beautiful, I'm about to cry. How can there be such a wonderful song? Oh my God, the high pitch resembled a sea demon singing. Even Vedas seemed to fall short. Director, should I come over to listen to you sing, or will you send your throat over to me? Make it go viral, this must trend. Where are the director's wife fans? Quickly like and comment. A song this beautiful mustn't be buried. Requesting the link. At NetEase Cloud, are you in business or not? Hurry up and buy it. I'll definitely pay to listen. At NetEase Cloud, hurry and promote it. Or do you think my director will just buy you out? In just a few minutes, the Weibo post had over 10 million clicks. Almost everyone who clicked also listened to the song, and the play count was several times the click rate, showing that everyone played it repeatedly. Whoa, that fast. Fang Jueyu had only gone to the restroom. He hadn't even asked the Weibo staff to pin the message, yet the fans had already spread it on their own. Young master, just now, the head of NetEase Cloud Music called, wanting the platform rights for your song. They said no additional fees are necessary, and all proceeds would go to you. No need. Let's keep this song freely available in Huaxia, but if foreign platforms want to buy it, ask for a hefty price. Understood, young master. Zhuang Ying received the order and left. The song's popularity nearly broke through the stratosphere. Many musical maestros and singing superstars, even kings and queens, gave it high praise. Han Hong, wow, this song is so well written and the singing is perfect. If it were a talent show, I'd turn around for him instantly. Zhang Weiyan, this is the best song I've heard in Huaxia's music scene in many years. Wang Fei, it's the first time I realized how high a male voice can reach. Absolutely amazing. Hua Tsai, the future successors for Huaxia's music scene are here. The employees of Weigu Company's music department had been busy for several days. Before the Grammy Awards, they needed to gather a lot of data to select nominees. Especially during this period, the battle across major platforms was ultra-competitive. Exceptional singers brought out their best works, and already over 20,000 songs had been nominated for various awards, but their work was far from over. Hey Limes, Huaxia has another song on the chart. Oh, is it that female singer Gogh Xinyu again? No, this time it's a male, and his name is the same as the world's richest man. Look, Fang Jueyu. What's the play count like? This data, oh my god, it's unbelievable. It just got listed for 2 minutes and already surged into the top 3. What? How is that possible? So far, the fastest anyone surged into the top ranks took at least half an hour, sometimes longer, but data doesn't lie. Star Abyss broke millions of plays in less than 5 minutes, and its real-time download rank instantly soared to number 1. Quick check, who exactly is this singer from Huaxia? This Limes, it's actually that Fang Jueyu. Which Fang Jueyu? The world's richest man, Fang Jueyu. He just released this song on their country's Weibo platform this morning. The song's popularity has already exploded. Lime slapped his forehead. God is too unfair. How can he even be so good at singing? Chapter 338-338. I'm just accompanying her to receive the award. Starry Sky hit number 1 on iTunes for both plays and downloads within 6 minutes of release. It reached first place on the ORICON charts within 10 minutes of release, and climbed to the top of the Billboard chart within 13 minutes. This song was like a peerless blade, slaughtering all the global music charts. The play count and download numbers had soared to terrifying heights, with domestic and international media hailing it as a musical miracle. Since the inception of these charts, no one had ever achieved such a feat. You could absolutely rely on your talent and looks to make it big, yet the dean insists on family backing. See that? This is what happens when someone has the skills but doesn't sing properly. The dean has no choice but to inherit billions. The Grammy nominations are coming up. I recall Miss Xinyu having 3 songs nominated. I bet the dean will soon get an invitation too. The netizens' speculations were spot on. By noon, Fang Jueyu had received a call from the Grammys, where Starry Sky received nominations for 12 awards, including the Lifetime Achievement Award, which was absolutely unprecedented. When the Grammy nomination list was officially announced, the Huaxia music scene exploded. Huaxia wasn't without Grammy winners, but they were all long-renowned musicians. Yet before today, no one knew Fang Jueyu could sing, and he burst onto the scene like a dynamite card. But on second thought, it seemed to align with his usual way of doing things. Before last year, no one knew this name, but even billionaires need time to accumulate wealth, right? Fang Jueyu seemed to have gotten rich and famous overnight. Before he participated in the global student cybersecurity competition, no one knew of his technical skills in that field, yet he unexpectedly brought home the championship trophy, breaking Huaxia's years-long dormant field. After that, his 20 high-level papers caused a worldwide sensation, making the entire scientific community remember his name. And today, he caused a big wave in the music world as a musician. So what earth-shattering event would he undertake next? The Weibo staff showed great professionalism because, the moment the news broke, they added a new line to the certification on Fang Jueyu's Weibo. Now, Fang Jueyu's Weibo certification had dozens of titles, and the small space was almost bursting with the content, but any one of them could stand out as a major influencer. While everyone was still immersed in feelings of shock, admiration, or envy, Fang Jueyu posted another tweet on Weibo. First of all, thank you all for your support and love for Starry Sky. To be honest, I didn't write this song to compete for Grammy Awards. It's just that my girlfriend Gogh Xinyu was nominated, and I didn't want her to go to the ceremony alone, so I'm just accompanying her like this. The comments from netizens came rushing in like a landslide. Listen to that. Is that what a person says? So many singers spend a lifetime trying for a nomination, and the dean is just doing it to accompany his girlfriend to receive an award. This bragging gets 99 points, withholding the last point just in case the dean gets complacent and goes overboard next time. Oh my God, what kind of fairy tale love is this? I'm so envious. Let's all just eat lemons. Lemon trees bear lemon fruits beneath the lemon tree. You and I, playing games in front of the lemon tree. But you always like to show off so much. Gogh Xinyu playfully smacked Fang Jueyu's chest, yet her face was full of sweetness. This was her man. Haha, can't help it, I'm just that amazing. You're probably going to sweep all 12 awards, Gogh Xinyu laughed. I heard that song too, it's really wonderful. Even though I've been studying longer than you, why can't I reach your level? It's a special skill. Bringing emotions and imagery into the music requires strong spiritual power. Next time, find some teachers who specialize in spiritual power to teach you. You'll be able to do it in no time. I'll have to study hard. But since this trip was mostly arranged by the Grammy work team, Fang Jueyu didn't take his private jet, but instead boarded the commercial flight arranged by the organizers with Gogh Xinyu. They say when you have too much fine food, sometimes you crave simple dishes. Come to think of it, Fang Jueyu himself had never flown on a commercial flight, finding it surprisingly novel. First time going abroad, are you nervous? Fang Jueyu asked. A little. I've never attended such a grand event. I wouldn't know where to put my hands and feet. Gogh Xinyu's face was full of tension and worry. Ha, don't be nervous, have confidence in yourself, Fang Jueyu comforted. With the two of us going, the awards are in the bag. We're not going to compete, we're going to collect our awards. Although every year's Grammy ceremony was full of new faces, Fang Jueyu believed that, with their physical and creative superiority compared to Earthlings, if there was no foul play, the awards were theirs. First class isn't that impressive. Fang Jueyu adjusted his seat. It's a bit less comfortable than my private jet. How can a commercial plane compare to a private jet? Yours is not just a plane, it's practically a palace floating in the sky. Well, it's just a few hours anyway. A nap and we'll be there. Fang Jueyu settled into a comfortable position. Fang Jueyu's gaze suddenly fell on a young man walking past them. What's up? Gogh Xinyu followed Fang Jueyu's gaze. The young man looked about their age, tall but somewhat lean, with delicate features and an aura quite similar to Fang Jueyu's. A hidden elementer. The two exchanged a glance. Superpower users, martial artists, and hidden elementers were similar but had significant differences. Both being hidden elementers, they could see the differences at a glance. Xiaoyi, is this person within our family sphere of influence? Fang Jueyu didn't immediately grow suspicious, as Zhuang Xinyan commanded more than 100,000 high-level hidden elementers. Occasionally encountering one was not unusual. Host, this person is not within your family. What? Fang Jueyu was certain he had never recruited such a person into the Super God Academy, as they would all bear his emblem. Could there really be something like potential guiding technique on Earth? No, I'm sure. Host, I sensed a pulse current from that young man similar to mine. You mean? I'm afraid he might also have an intelligent system like mine, and from a civilization of level 2 or higher. Is that so? Fang Jueyu's expression completely changed. Chapter 339-339, Another System. The origins of the Fang family's wealth. Where did it come from? Their formidable personal power and overwhelming influence. How did they achieve it? How could their industries reach across the entire universe and even hold shares in a cosmic chain of supermarkets? Without a doubt, it was all based on the presence of Xiaoyi. Without Xiaoyi, perhaps the first generation of Fang ancestors would have perished from hunger or cold in that primitive and backward era, making it impossible to develop to the current scale. When Fang Jueyu learned that there was another system in existence in this world, his first feeling was intense unease. He was no saint. He knew what advanced civilizations, intelligent systems could provide, a leap beyond modern science and knowledge, special powers beyond modern comprehension. What kind of world was Earth? Humanity had only existed for hundreds of thousands of years, modern industry for just a few hundred, a planet barely stepping into the early stages of a Tier 1 civilization. For such an intelligent system to appear on this planet, wealth, fame, and status were within arm's reach. As long as one could discreetly accumulate power, dominating the entire planet would be no difficult task. Therefore, when such a person appeared, he even felt that many things were slipping out of control. If that person possessed more strength, technology, and wealth than he did, then Earth would no longer be his backyard. Host, you seem quite worried, don't you? Xiaoya's tone sounded incredibly relaxed. Shouldn't I be worried? My ancestors had a system like you. Look how comfortably our family lives now, and in hundreds of thousands of years, we could aim to be the wealthiest in the universe. This is simply adding a very strong competitor. Can his broken system compare to me? Xiaoya said disdainfully. Even intelligent systems have ranks. Didn't we easily control the intelligent system from the third-tier civilization's warehouse? Host, there are civilizational numbers as vast as the Starry River, but do you know what a top-level civilization is? A top-level civilization is also called a god-level civilization. When a civilization reaches this point, it's almost at the end of evolution, and there is virtually nothing it cannot do. But do you think every civilization can reach top level? I'm telling you, there are no more than 50 top-level civilizations in the universe, and I am the crystallization of over 30 of them. After those civilizations ended, there have only been a few top-level civilizations left in the universe, and in a short period of a few thousand years, there's no way a new top-level civilization could emerge. Xiaoya rambled on. So, I am a unique intelligent system. You absolutely can't find anyone stronger than me in this universe. Although I don't know how that system came to your Earth, from the radiation waves emitting from it, at most it's a third-tier civilization's intelligent system. That kind of civilization system compared to me is like comparing an idiot pig to an academician in IQ and infinitely enlarging that gap. So, you don't need to worry at all, its existence can't change anything. Even if it stands against you, the unlucky one can only be it. Say that earlier. You had me worrying. After listening to Xiaoyi, Fang Jueyu patted his chest and all his worries instantly vanished. However, host, that guy seems to come with malicious intent. Xiaoyi reminded. He's probing your information. How come I didn't notice? Fang Jueyu was already at the strength of an intermediate hidden elementer. In theory, as long as the existence wasn't a divine ability user or above, it shouldn't evade his divine sense, so who could discreetly investigate his information? Of course, it's not that young man. His strength is similar to yours, also an intermediate hidden elementer, but he's very cautious and is using the system on him to scan your body data, which I've already helped you block, Xiaoyi said. Goodness coming for me, Fang Jueyu frowned. The plane had already taken off. If any intense conflict arose, it was no joking matter. They weren't source energy users yet, still lacking the ability to fly. There were still hundreds of ordinary passengers on the plane. If something happened to the plane, he wouldn't be able to save so many people with his current abilities. Xiaoyi, can you investigate his information? Fang Jueyu asked. A piece of cake. I can easily help you cut off all its data intrusions, but bypassing its protection is nothing. 2 seconds later, all information about the young man appeared before Fang Jueyu's eyes. Ryukawa Tsukio, a man from Tokugawa Nation, 23 years old, the current ninja emperor of Tokugawa Nation's superpower user organization, Dark Ninja. A person from Tokugawa Nation. Fang Jueyu squinted his eyes. Last time at the ruins, he extorted several $100 million from them. Quite strange. Why didn't this young ninja emperor appear in the Antarctic ruins a month ago? This position of ninja emperor was comparable to Long Ting's status in Yanhuang, achievable only when both strength and reputation reached the pinnacle. At that time, the leader from Tokugawa Nation was a 7th-tier superpower user, so Ryukawa Tsukio's strength should far surpass his. Host, Ryukawa Tsukio's story is quite interesting. A few years ago, he was just an ordinary high school student with average grades and background, and also long suffered campus bullying. Yet, in his second senior semester, his life's trajectory completely changed. Oh, did he suddenly excel in studies, gain various abilities, start making money and win over women effortlessly. Then, after some time, came into contact with their country's superpower organization and later became the Ninja Emperor. How did you know? Host, did you spiritually assault his brain and retrieve his memory? Xiaoyu was astonished. Impossible, even though your cultivation system is superior to his, your realms are similar. Even if he couldn't resist your spiritual power, the system on him would certainly protect him well. No, I didn't, I guessed. Our Huaxia's waste-style novels and system flow novels invariably follow this kind of formula. It's easy to guess. Fang Jueyu rolled his eyes. This cliched plot had been penned by countless authors 100 times over. Even he seemed to have gotten close to such a cliched storyline, the only difference being that he never experienced the struggling phase after owning the system, enjoying directly the ventures his ancestors had already achieved for him. Host, he didn't appear last time because he had other tasks, but Tokugawa Nation suffered such a huge loss. How could a person as proud as him swallow his pride? So he's here to cause trouble. Naturally, he probably assumes you obtained plenty of sage crystals and advanced technological products in the ruins, Zioye said. Although his system is a third-tier civilization one, he doesn't have ancestors like yours. Even the most skilled cannot produce without resources. Those resources he definitely won't let slip by. So this time, he's surely prepared. Fang Jueyu secretly communicated with Gogh Xinyu next to him using spiritual power. Xinyu, if a conflict arises later, help look after the ordinary people in the other cabin. What's wrong? Is there an issue with that person? Fang Jueyu nodded. The airplane flew stably over the Pacific Ocean, and everything seemed incredibly calm. All the passengers were watching TV and listening to music, unaware that there were a few extraordinary individuals on this flight. Yuxing, haven't you found his exact information yet? Ryukawa Tsukyo sat in his seat appearing relaxed, but he was unusually anxious inside. Yuxing, this was the name of the intelligent system he had obtained, which came from a level 3 civilization. This system contained all the wisdom crystallized within a level 3 civilization. Unfortunately, their civilization was destroyed during an invasion by a level 4 civilization. A level 3 civilization had already conquered its own galaxy. At the last moment, they detonated their star, a star several tens of thousands of times the mass of the sun. When such a star collapsed, it created a black hole. Yuxing came near Earth through that black hole, using a gamma-ray beam, and eventually ended up with Ryukawa Tsukyo. Since he acquired this mysterious cosmic intelligence system, everything was almost under his control. Anything he wanted to achieve, he could accomplish thus far. Over the past few years, he had gripped the economic lifeline of East Kulik country, and all the high-ups treated him with great respect. His ambition extended beyond this planet, and he wasn't particularly interested in such a small piece of land. Last month, Yuxing found a metallic meteorite deep in the Pacific Ocean. The metal composition in this meteorite was extremely rare and did not exist on Earth. In the universe, this kind of metal was also quite expensive. Compared to the relic of a level 3 civilization, this piece of metal was easier for him to obtain and posed less risk. Therefore, he decided to abandon that operation and went to the bottom of the Pacific Ocean alone. As he wished, he acquired that piece of metallic meteorite. However, upon his return, the Dark Ninja people informed him that Huaxia had a remarkably young advisor, someone who had beaten superpower users worldwide to the point they couldn't lift their heads. This piqued Ryukawa Tsukyo's strong interest in him. Some even speculated that he gained significant benefits in the relic. Otherwise, how could he dismiss more than 100 grams of the sage crystal as nothing? The purpose of Ryukawa Tsukyo's trip was to seize the items Fang Jueyu had garnered from the level 3 civilization spaceship. Ordinary superpower users couldn't bypass the guardians that Zhuang Xinyan had arranged near the Huaxia border. For nearly 20 years, no one had been able to break this iron rule. But with the help of Yuxing, Ryukawa Tsukyo succeeded. The Earth's internet couldn't escape Zioye's monitoring, and in front of Yuxing, there were no secrets either. Through Grammy's workgroup, he easily acquired Fang Jueyu's itinerary and boarded this plane heading to the United States. When he thought everything was going smoothly, Yuxing's first failure caused him to feel nervous for the first time. This was the first time Yuxing told him impossible. Host, besides the information circulating online about Fang Jueyu, I can't obtain any valid data. His parents, ancestors, all information has been erased or blocked. Then what about his strength? My detector shows that he is just an ordinary human. That's absolutely impossible. People from Dark Ninja recorded Fang Jueyu's battle footage at that time. Although the device was destroyed, the stored data was not lost. That energy coalesced into a giant finger 20 meters long. Could an ordinary person do that? Host, this person named Fang Jueyu has an unusual background. We should be more cautious. Yuxing did not doubt Ryukawa Tsukyo's judgment because it also knew clearly this was just a facade. He couldn't possibly be an ordinary person. I suspect the intelligent civilization system that appeared on Earth long ago is in his possession. What? Ryukawa Tsukyo's breath became heavy. Ryukawa Tsukyo had heard that near Huaxia there was a mysterious group of guardians. Any superpower user of SSS level or above trying to enter Huaxia would certainly end up dead on the spot. After advancing to a hidden element user, he once tried without believing in evil despite only being an early-stage hidden element user. But this was a potential guiding technique of a level 3 cosmic civilization. Unless there was a superpower user above the 6th stage, he feared nothing. However, on that occasion, he suffered his first setback because the first Huaxia Guardian he encountered was a junior hidden element user, and that hidden element user was not even weaker than him. Emerging hidden element users in Huaxia implied only one possibility. There was information about cosmic civilization cultivation systems in Huaxia, or they had also obtained a similar intelligent system. Although the strength was comparable, Zhuang Xinyan's hidden element users only had the realm and no corresponding martial arts, while Ryukawa Tsukio had many techniques up his sleeve, which was how he managed to escape. But after that, Yuxing's suspicion lingered in his mind persistently. So what do we do? Don't panic. Even if he possesses a cosmic civilization's intelligence system, it might not be more advanced than mine. Yuxing consoled. It's already incredible for such a remote planet to have 2 intelligent systems. Advanced intelligent systems beyond a level 3 civilization don't just end up outside easily. Look here, if his system were more advanced than mine, he wouldn't just be sitting there watching a movie. He would have already predicted our existence. But since I sensed no fluctuations just now, it indicates his detector can't find me. Little did they know Fang Jueyu had spotted them long ago, but he didn't regard them as significant, which was why he seemed so relaxed. When should we act? With those hidden elementers or even source energy users in Huaxia, we can't make a move. But we're about to enter the United States border. If we act there, it might cause us some trouble too. He doesn't have many chances to leave Huaxia. Let's do it now. Let's take a gamble. Host, be cautious. As Ryukawa Tsukio and Yuxing were discussing strategies, a shadow suddenly attacked them. Ryukawa Tsukio instinctively reached out but only caught a grape. Sir, you? Ryukawa Tsukio turned around, only to see Fang Jueyu with his arms crossed, smiling faintly at him. Hey, have you finished discussing? The conversation between Ryukawa Tsukio and Yuxing seemed to be broadcast live right to Fang Jueyu's ears. He didn't expect that Ryukawa Tsukio had also deduced that another system existed on Earth. Didn't expect you to have already clashed with my people. You're the first to reach Huaxia's border and escape, Fang Jueyu said nonchalantly, but the world is indeed magical. Someone else has had the same experience as me. You know everything. Suddenly, an ominous premonition arose in Ryukawa Tsukio's mind. Sorry, buddy, your system isn't more advanced than mine. Chapter 340, 1-341. Why are you rolling your white eyes? Your system is called Ewing, an intelligent system from a level 3 civilization that happened to end up on Earth because their civilization was invaded by a level 4 civilization. Am I right, Mr. Ryukawa Tsukio? He really knows everything. For the first time, Ryukawa Tsukio felt a profound sense of unease in his heart, even fear. Ever since acquiring Ewing, he always felt certain of victory in everything he did. Nothing ever took him by surprise. Everything was under his control. But today, this situation had completely flipped. A young man, similar in age to him, stood calmly in front of him, revealing his greatest secret without any hesitation. Even though there were only 3 people in this first-class cabin, Ryukawa Tsukio could absolutely not accept this. Ewing, what are the odds of me killing him? Host, the civilization from which his system comes may be superior to mine, but this is just a difference between our 2 intelligent systems. Your difference in strength is the key to victory. His strength is at most that of a hidden elementer, not very high. Your strength should be evenly matched, but you have something more. What is that? Those economy-class passengers, said Ewing. These are all Huaxia people. You don't need to worry about them, but Fang Jueyu does. That is your biggest advantage right now. Makes sense. If Fang Jueyu's strength far exceeded his own, he wouldn't be bothering with this meaningless conversation. Since he already knew what he discussed with Ewing, he would have acted directly. But Fang Jueyu hadn't, which meant he wasn't very confident himself. Mr. Fang, it seems you already know my background. Ryukawa Tsukio tried to make his tone calmer. Why don't we sit down and talk? If we fight, this plane won't stay intact. We both may have some tricks, but you need to consider the other passengers on the plane. Are you threatening me? Fang Jueyu's aura became dangerous. He had encountered many who threatened him before, but most ended up with their brains bashed. However, Ryukawa Tsukio was different. His threat seemed much more effective than those of the previous fools. Yukawa Tsukio had an air of confidence. He knew that when Huaxia Enterprises abroad faced labor strikes, Fang Jueyu even used his own private plane to support them. Moreover, he was aware of Fang Jueyu's involvement in the cyber warfare of Skynet and the currency market battles. From these perspectives, he's certainly not a cold-blooded person. At least, he couldn't ignore his own country and compatriots, so he must have some hesitation. Fine, let's sit down and talk. Fang Jueyu's anger quickly dissipated. His anger was due to Ryukawa Tsukio's threats. Ensuring passenger safety and dealing with him might be troublesome, but not impossible. Mr. Fang's intelligence system should be from a peak level 3 civilization, or maybe a level 4 civilization, right? Truly envious. Ryukawa Tsukio took a small sip of red wine. Fang Jueyu smiled ambiguously, trying to trick him into saying something was simply a dream. A system jointly created by dozens of top civilizations. Saying it out loud might just scare him. Mr. Fang, I'll get straight to the point, Ryukawa Tsukio posed in a cultured manner. Since we have obtained these cosmic resources, Earth cannot limit us. One day we will leave here. The universe is our stage. Keep babbling, I'm listening. Fang Jueyu had an expression of extreme nonchalance. Ryukawa Tsukio frowned, but held his composure. While we have this technological knowledge, we lack tools and materials. The relics left from prehistory are undoubtedly the finest treasures left for us, but even your system likely can't control the ships of those civilizations, can it? Ryukawa Tsukio heard from his subordinates that Fang Jueyu seemed to control the self-defense and intelligence systems of that relic, but he believed Fang Jueyu couldn't fully control the ship. Otherwise, it would have been in his possession by now. Get to the point already, will you? What do you really want to say? Fang Jueyu asked impatiently, hating when people beat around the bush. They're all adults, being straightforward won't kill anyone. I hope Mr. Fang can part with some of the high-tech products and sage crystals from the relic. I'm sure one person can't utilize them all. Come on, is your brain fried or is mine? I laughed outright. Let's not even consider that the warehouse was empty when I entered it. You should know the value of a sage crystal. Why should I give you half? Are you my son? Mr. Fang, I am negotiating with you. Please speak with respect. Ryukawa Tsukio finally had enough of Fang Jueyu's relentless mockery. Respect is mutual. You're sitting here threatening me with a plane full of people and you have the nerve to talk about negotiations. Respect you. By the way, my side business is making keys for people. Would you like one? Want to make a few keys? It seems we have nothing to discuss. The temperature in the first-class cabin plummeted instantly. Sorry, but your threats don't faze me at all. You asked what level my intelligence system is, and I don't mind telling you. Mine is a top-level civilization system. Even if our realms are similar, our strength isn't on the same level. Huaxia person, don't be too arrogant. As the leader of the Dark Ninja, Ryukawa Tsukio's strongest ability was ninjutsu. Ewing combined high-level cosmic martial arts with ancient books from the Eastern Kingdom and ninjutsu in animated works to create a suitable martial arts system for him. Instantly, 3 connected Tamo appeared in Ryukawa Tsukio's eyes, resembling blades, while a powerful spiritual power attacked Fang Jueyu. Swish! The scene before Fang Jueyu changed suddenly. He was no longer in a luxurious cabin but in a bleak graveyard, and his nostrils filled with the scent of decay and moisture. The chilling howls around made him shiver. Manjikayo Sharingan. Fang Jueyu was slightly surprised. This illusion technique he had only seen once before in Uchiha Itachi-sensei at the Super God Academy. Back then, learning some ninjutsu from him had given Fang Jueyu quite a hard time. Tsukiyomi Fang Jueyu shook his head. Sorry about that, I can do this trick too. The same red Tamo appeared in Fang Jueyu's eyes. This illusion technique was essentially just a use of spiritual power. As long as one's spiritual power was strong enough, it could break such illusions. There was a huge gap in fundamentals between a top-level civilization's intelligence system and a level 3 civilization's system-trained hidden elementer. Rustle, a skeletal hand suddenly reached out from the loose soil, grabbing Ryukawa Tsukio into this illusion realm. How is this possible? How could my illusion technique be broken? Ryukawa Tsukio struggled hard, even bleeding from his eyes, mouth, and nose. Enjoy it yourself. Fang Jueyu smiled coldly, and his body disappeared from this illusion realm. Crack, graveyard split on the ground and dry arms stretched out. It was unclear how long they had spent in the illusion realm, an hour, a day, a month, or a year. But in this first-class cabin, the two maintained their original postures. Fang Jueyu gradually opened his eyes, and in front of him, Ryukawa Tsukio's eyes were now void of spirit. Sigh, Fang Jueyu sighed and shook his head. You wanted to make a move, so why roll your eyes instead? Chapter 342, minus 342. You still need to be punished regardless. What happened to him? Gyu Xinyu looked at Ryukawa Tsukio, who was standing there motionless, rolling his eyes and bleeding from his orifices, and asked. Oh, he might have been feeling weak lately, ate too much tonic and got overheated, Fang Jueyu said nonsensically. Who exactly is he? The leader of the Dark Ninjas from the East Enemy Nation. Fang Jueyu looked at Gyu Xinyu's puzzled expression and explained further. Dark Ninjas are their superpower user organization, similar to our Yanwang, but this guy isn't a superpower user. He's a hidden elementer like us. He came looking for you. Yeah, Fang Jueyu nodded. They probably think I got a lot of good stuff from the ruins in Antarctica last month, so they want a piece of the pie. But they don't realize I'm not a soft persimmon, I'm a steel plate. Fang Jueyu suddenly started stuffing the fruit from the first-class table into Ryukawa Tsukio's mouth, then dumped the plate of spaghetti over his head, smearing him with tomato sauce and salad dressing. Threaten me? Go ahead and try to threaten me again. Gyu Xinyu couldn't help but chuckle at Fang Jueyu's childlike antics and Ryukawa Tsukio's messy state. Only Fang Jueyu would think of messing around at a time like this. Ha ha ha, perfect. Fang Jueyu pulled out his phone and snapped a series of photos of Ryukawa Tsukio. Little Yi, send these directly to the headquarters of the Dark Ninjas. Yes, host, ahahaha, you're too wicked. Little Yi not only uploaded the photos to the headquarters of the Dark Ninjas, but also posted them on major social media platforms worldwide. It's worth noting that Ryukawa Tsukio was not only the leader of the Dark Ninjas, but also the president of numerous conglomerates. Though his fame didn't quite measure up to Fang Jueyu's, he was still very influential. Hey look, some anonymous account posted a series of photos. Isn't this Ryukawa Tsukio? Damn, it really is him. The richest guy from the East Enemy Nation in his 20s, my god, how did he end up like this? Ha 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 ha, why are there 2 salted duck eggs on his eyes? Is he cosplaying as Ultraman? Feels like someone set him up, how pitiful. What a disgrace. If I were such a public figure and photos like this got online, I'd probably kill myself. I want to know who uploaded these photos, ha ha ha, also. Huaxia's netizens loved a spectacle. Having gotten used to the stunts Fang Jueyu pulled off, occasionally enjoying someone else's gossip wasn't bad. These photos also appeared at the headquarters of the Dark Ninjas. Suddenly, the screens of the logistics staff's computers and the LED screens announcing notices and missions all displayed the miserably embarrassed photos of Ryukawa Tsukio done by Fang Jueyu. What's going on? Didn't the leader go to see that Huaxia guy? No way. The leader is definitely one of the top powers in the world. How could he end up like this? Is that Huaxia guy really that terrifying? Impossible. Absolutely impossible. These must be doctored photos, definitely fake. Not good. The leader's photos have appeared online. Delete them, delete all of them. This is a matter of our East Enemy Nation's honor, not just a personal issue. No way, the photos are spreading too fast. It's too late to delete. At this moment, all the members of the Dark Ninjas felt a burning humiliation, as if the shame had fallen on them. Snap! Fang Jueyu took another selfie with Ryukawa Tsukio and posted it on his Weibo through Little Yi. At Fang Jueyu, today, Xinyu and I were honored to be invited by the Grammy Working Group to attend the awards ceremony. On the way, we bumped into Mr. Ryukawa Tsukio from the East Enemy Nation, who said he was my fan and was eager to take a picture with me, although I didn't quite get their way of photo taking. Emoji. Fan your mom. When can you speak human words, headmaster? Ah, poor guy. He must have pissed off the headmaster. Next time open your eyes and don't mess with just anyone. Is there a war correspondent? I want to know what happened. More than that, I want to know how the headmaster sent a Weibo on a plane. Can you really use the internet on planes now? Is the signal good? While Ryukawa Tsukio was still suffering under Fang Jueyu's illusion technique, he had no idea his photos were made into memes, and he had become the public's laughingstock. At that moment, Ryukawa Tsukio shuddered, collapsing weakly into his seat, completely drained, his whole body soaked and his breath incredibly weak. Somehow, he managed to break through Fang Jueyu's illusion technique. Although his body hadn't suffered any harm, his spiritual power had taken a severe hit. He pulled out some black pills from his pocket and swallowed them, his expression slightly relaxing. Oh, do they also have alchemy? Nothing strange about it. Grade 3 civilizations' alchemy techniques are already mature, but certainly nowhere as efficient and affordable as the products from your fully automated alchemy machine. What he's making might be just enough for his own use. Looking at his wretched state, Ryukawa Tsukio could guess what had happened earlier, but what he didn't know was that people all over the world had already seen him this way. I'll kill you. Ryukawa Tsukio's eyes turned insanely furious. Ever since he obtained the Dark Star, he had never suffered such torment and humiliation. His hands swiftly formed seals. A blazing flame shot toward Fang Jueyu. At that moment, the first-class cabin door swung open, and the crew seemed ready to serve meals. Oh no, Xinyu. Got it, leave it to me. Guo Xinyu quickly covered the flight attendant's eyes and pushed her out of the first-class cabin. Boom! An explosion came from the first-class cabin, followed by a wave of shaking, making the passengers' hearts skip. Had something happened to the plane? Damn, you're playing for real. Fighting on a plane was no small matter, and Fang Jueyu had underestimated Ryukawa Tsukio, who, after enduring such torment, still had the strength to fight. Fang Jueyu had tried to minimize the destructive power of the flame, but even so, the first-class cabin had undergone slight deformation. You're insane, you're a hidden element or two, you'll die. Fang Jueyu suddenly regretted giving Guya a vacation. If he were here, he could subdue Ryukawa Tsukio in an instant. Even if the plane was in trouble, he could hold it up for a safe landing. HMPH, you know too little about our ninjutsu. Ryukawa Tsukio's face was already distorted with a menacing expression, as fireballs and ice spikes demolished the first-class cabin. Fortunately, under Fang Jueyu's protection, the aircraft's structure remained intact. You're courting death. For the second time, Fang Jueyu felt a murderous intent. He initially thought his illusion technique would suffice to deal with Ryukawa Tsukio, but he underestimated the enemy. Now, constrained in this environment, he found it hard to subdue him. Frost Ring. Fang Jueyu used cosmic source power to freeze the surrounding moisture into hard ice, stronger than steel. Although Ryukawa Tsukio's strength was significant, he was still slightly inferior to Fang Jueyu. His attacks left marks on the ice walls but couldn't break them. The plane kept shaking, but it wasn't too serious. Crack, Fang Jueyu's knuckles crackled intensely. Now what are you going to do? You bet I'm still going to hammer you. Chapter 343-343. I've even piloted a Gundam. Sky-rank combat technique, glazed glass Vajra body. Under the powerful cosmic source power, Fang Jueyu's body was practically invincible, and each punch forced Ryukawa Tsukio to retreat step by step. However, it had to be admitted that he was indeed the strongest opponent he had faced so far. At least against him, Fang Jueyu could only exhibit overwhelming suppression but couldn't finish him off directly. Host, things don't look good, he's too strong. If you keep fighting, you might die here. Ewing hadn't expected that Fang Jueyu's strength would be formidable to this degree. Ryukawa Tsukio's level had just reached the mid-stage of a potential user, but he was confident that even an 8th-tier superpower user could be dealt with as easily as slaughtering chickens. Although, according to the reports from his subordinates, Fang Jueyu could kill over 100 superpower users in a single move, which was shocking. He was confident he could achieve the same if he exerted full force. Therefore, he had come to Huaxia with great confidence, intending to seize those third-level civilization items from Fang Jueyu. But he never expected that Fang Jueyu not only had a more advanced intelligent system, but also a strength so deep and elusive. Damn it, Ryukawa Tsukio gritted his teeth. Although not obtaining those items was really frustrating, losing his life here would be a true loss. Bang! A plume of thick smoke exploded in the first-class cabin, immediately obscuring Fang Jueyu's view. However, this smoke only blocked his sight for a second or two before Fang Jueyu dispersed it. In just those 1 or 2 seconds, Ryukawa Tsukio had enough time to do many things. He burned through an ice wall, and a massive fireball blasted through, though no one expected that the angle was actually aimed at the cockpit. Boom! A violent explosion accompanied by shattered windshields blasted, and the pilot and co-pilot were directly stunned by the force. Had the seat belts not been sturdy, their bodies might have been flung out. Ryukawa Tsukio cast a resentful glance at Fang Jueyu before leaping from the shattered windshield. After falling several hundred meters, a gliding device suddenly appeared from his back. Although it was just a third-level civilization's intelligent system, It came with a storage space developed through some spatial technology, and Fang Jueyu could only watch as he disappeared into the distance. Damn it! Fang Jueyu wanted to chase after him, but the earlier explosion seemed to have already damaged the plane's autopilot system. With the two pilots unconscious, he couldn't just watch the plane crash into the Pacific Ocean, could he? Just wait, one day I'll track you down to Donku country and wring your neck off. The cockpit and first-class cabin had already lost pressure, and the pilots were in bad condition. The earlier explosion likely caused significant trauma to their bodies, and without timely medical aid, things might go south. The plane's altitude had started to drop, and cries of despair and panic echoed from the economy cabin as the flight attendants struggled to maintain order. But in the face of such a crisis, few could remain calm. "Captain, Captain, come in." The cabin crew tried desperately to reach the cockpit. "This is the cockpit," Fang Jueyu answered the video call. "Sir, what happened inside? Where is the captain?" The head stewardess showed remarkable composure, maintaining her rationality amid the chaos. "It's complicated. A very dangerous person sneaked onto the plane, but he's been dealt with now. However, both pilots are injured and the cockpit is damaged. I need to continue flying the plane and find a place for an emergency landing. Prepare emergency medical equipment immediately, and I'll have you take care of the captains." "Mr. Fang, what about you?" "I'm fine, but the plane's autopilot system is down. Someone needs to fly it, and I'm staying here." "But you aren't professionally trained, that's too dangerous," the head stewardess said. "Is there anyone else here who can fly a plane?" Fang Jueyu retorted. "Well, don't worry, I've flown fighter jets, bombers, even Gundams. Flying a mere civilian aircraft is nothing. Prepare to rescue," Fang Jueyu asserted in an unmistakable tone. "All right," the head stewardess knew it wasn't the time for stubbornness. Maybe Fang Jueyu really could fly the plane. "Xinyu, get ready. When I count to 3, take them and shut the hatch immediately, or the economy cabin will lose pressure too." "Don't worry." Xinyu knew that the high-altitude pressure was nothing for Fang Jueyu to handle. 1, 2, 3. As the hatch opened, the strong airflow left the people in the economy cabin reeling, but fortunately, they were strapped in. Fang Jueyu immediately handed the two pilots over to Xinyu. "Do you need help?" Xinyu asked. "Can you fly a plane?" Xinyu blushed and shook her head. Aside from the most basic potential guiding technique, what Xinyu learned at Super God Academy wasn't much. If Junyu were here, his piloting skills might be better than Fang Jueyu's by now. "Haha, you'd better help the crew maintain order. Leave this flying thing to me," Fang Jueyu joked. "I'm not just good at fighting." "The scoundrel." "What? I meant that idiot prince who flew a fighter jet to deal with me last time." Fang Jueyu laughed as he took the pilot's seat. Although he hadn't flown before, the piloting knowledge he'd learned was more than enough for even a third-level civilization's warship. "Zioyi, help me check the plane's status." "Navigation system intact, power system damaged, left wing engine out. We should make an emergency landing immediately." "Damn, we're over the Pacific Ocean. Where am I supposed to find a spot to land?" Fang Jueyu grumbled. The plane was stabilized, but it was still losing altitude, and alarms kept blaring from the aircraft. "Host, a carrier fleet is conducting military exercises in nearby waters. We can attempt an emergency landing on the carrier's deck." "Are you kidding me? What if they shoot us down as live targets?" "No worries, we still have time. We can establish contact with them immediately." "Which country's carrier fleet?" "Bardo's made up to avoid censorship. They just bought a carrier this year, probably eager to parade it around." "They can afford a carrier." Fang Jueyu wasn't too familiar with the country, but it wasn't wealthy, just a developing nation. "Yes, but to afford one carrier, the country nearly bankrupted itself." "Ha, that makes it easier then. Zioyi, have Zhuangying help me contact Bardo's leaders and ask how much it costs to land a plane on their carrier." "Hey, you know what, just ask how much it costs to build that carrier. I'll offer double and buy it outright." "Host, what's the point of buying it?" "I'm worried they won't let us land. If I offer double, they're so poor they'll surely sell it to me. Then I'll sail it back home and open a carrier-themed amusement park. I bet I'll make the money back soon enough."